más vocabulario, more vocabulary. Okay, now el vocabulario that we did at the beginning of el capítulo had to do with el cuerpo. Okay, and so now we are looking at various ailments and other things that may or may not afflict you, okay, in el cuerpo, all right? So, of course, the question, ¿Cómo estás? How are you? We use the verb estar when we're asking somebody's physical or mental or emotional state or their condition, okay? So, in this case, estoy enfer, since it's majority ladies today, we're going to go with estoy enferma, okay? Of course, I and Ashton would say estoy enfermo, okay? But what are some of the ailments? What are some of the things? Okay, now, just a couple of things right here. We did consultorio in the first part of the vocabulary. Does anyone remember qué es consultorio en inglés? Gracias, physician's office. Okay, now, you can say oficina de doctor, all right, if you really want to. People will understand, but just know that the proper term is consultorio, okay? And consultorio would be not just a doctor's office, but also dentists, like anything that has to do with, physical stuff, okay? This one should be straightforward enough. Clínica? Clinic. All right. Sometimes you go to a clinic, all right, to get some kind of treatment or, something really, really quick, all right? And hospital. I was going to say, I hope that one's obvious. All right. Hospital, yes. It's actually the same word in multiple languages, not just English, español. Okay. So, some of the ailments, some of the things, okay? And so maybe if something happens to you, and I actually had this experience recently, in the summer, en el verano, at the top of page 162, la sala de emergencia. Okay, it has the word emergencia, which does in fact mean emergency. So what would la sala de emergencia? Yeah, emergency room. So sometimes you got to go to the emergency room, to the ER. Okay, some people call it the emergency department. All right, so whatever. Pero en español, la sala de emergencia. Okay. Now, if you look at the kid there with the green shirt and, shirt verde y pantalones azul, okay, it's like the circle around his head and weird wavy lines. Tener mareos. Yes, muy bien. Now, in Spanish, we do say to have a lot, but how would you actually say that in English? To be dizzy. Yeah, I'm dizzy. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Julia might say, I have dizziness. All right, but I'm dizzy, okay, or I feel dizzy. So to feel dizzy, to be lightheaded, I suppose you could even go as far as to, have vertigo. I don't know, okay, but to be dizzy.
Had that one. That's no joke.
It is. No, I've had vertigo before too.
That was crazy.
The whole world just spins, and it does, and you do this, and it's still spinning. All right. Moving on into the little curtain areas there. Tener fiebre, the guy in the red sweater. Tener. Now he's sweating, and his cheeks are supposed to be flushed.
Okay.
Tener fiebre. Yeah, to have a fever. Now that one does mean to have. Okay, I know some of them won't be to have, but others, yeah. To have a fever, okay, tener fiebre, to have a fever, okay. The person holding a very, very old school thermometer and grabbing their wrist, I'm assuming they're grabbing the pulse or feeling for a pulse. La enfermera.
Nurse.
Nurse. Okay, nurse, la enfermera. Now, that of course is if it's a female nurse. El enfermero. If we put the L and end it in O, what kind of nurse? Male nurse. Okay, boy nurse, guy nurse. Okay, whatever. Okay, so enfermera if it's a woman, enfermero if it's a man. And then tomarle la temperatura, you have the word temperature there, and it's pointing to the thermometer. To take what?
One's temperature.
Muy bien, to take a temperature, to take one's temperature. Okay, so tomarle la temperatura. Now, we're going to get into the type of verb that is, but not in this chapter, so don't wait before I lie to you.
Oh, you're saying the one in parentheses will get to?
No, the fact that it ends in LE. Okay, but yeah, that's in a future chapter.
Oh.
So for now, just know that it means to take a temperature. Okay.
And what is in the parentheses again?
Alguien just means someone's. So
Oh,
to
okay.
take someone's temperature. Okay. Now, moving into the next area. Okay. The person in the bed. El paciente or la paciente. Sounds pretty close to Inglés. Yeah, patient. Okay. Obviously, if it's a male, el paciente. If it's a female, la paciente. Okay. We did this one in the previous vocab list. El médico, physician or doctor. La médica, also physician or doctor. But once again, it depends on whether it is a male or female. If you have a male doctor, el médico, female doctor, la médica, okay? And of course, it's not wrong, but you can say el doctor or la doctora, okay? But just remember, doctor is the title, médico is the profession. And even though in English we don't really make that distinction a whole lot anymore, in Espanol it's still kind of there. Although if like Cheyenne says, voy a la doctora, nobody's going to say, you mean la médica? Like nobody cares. It's everybody understands. Okay. Moving down to the guy in the purple sweater with stripes. And of course, ladies, estar congestionada, or for the men, estar congestionado. And it does kind of sound like it.
To be congested?
To be congested, which, no offense, Allie, you sound un poquito congestionada. Okay, you're like always. Congestionado or congestion. And he's supposed to be like tapping his chest because, you got congestion in your chest. Okay, but, it's also in the sinus. Okay, now, I skipped over this room, lo siento. Okay, I guess I went straight for the ER. But when you first get there, after you get registered, there is a lot of waiting in la sala de espera. What is the waiting room? See, okay, and espera comes from the verb esperar, to wait. Okay, it's also the command wait. All right, but in this case, waiting room or waiting area. All right. So looking at the old guy in the white shirt with a bag, tener náusea. To be nauseous, yeah. Now, once again, to have nausea, I suppose, like some people do say that, like I have nausea, but to be nauseous, okay? Or, whatever, tener náusea. Tener dolor de cabeza. Headache, okay? Now, tener, to have. Dolor, D-O-L-O-R, means ache or pain. So to have an ache, to have a pain. And then cabeza, we learned in the last part, head. Okay? So to have an ache in your head, or en español, en inglés, headache. Okay? The dude in yellow with the handkerchief, That is a verb, that is an action. I'm hoping somebody does it, but no, I guess not. Estornudar, to sneeze. Okay, so that is, it's just a regular AR verb. So I can say, yo estornudo, I sneeze. Ella estornuda, she sneezes. Nosotros estornudamos, we sneeze. Etc. Okay, there's nothing weird or funny about it. All right, just an AR verb. Okay, what do we say when alguien estornuda en español? What do we say if someone estornuda? When someone sneezes? Salud, sí. In English, bless you, but in español, we don't care. All right, so it is salud. Okay, I think I've been recording upside down, so oh well. All right, salud. All right, the next thing, there is the lady sitting on the couch. Okay, and she's got a blanket over her. And those little lines to her side mean she's shivering. So, tener escalofrío. Yeah, I was going to say not necessarily cold, but the chills. Okay, when it comes to being sick, you have the chills. It could be as hot as it is in this room, but you're like, okay, so to have the chills, tener escalofríos. Okay, and then the guy in the purple sweater and jeans over to the right, it looks like he's holding, I don't know, a piece of steam, but it's supposed to be something coming out of his mouth. Toser is to cough. It's the action of going, okay? Whereas tener tos is to have a cough, okay? So, I could say Cheyenne tose mucho. Cheyenne is coughing a lot, all right? Or Gabby tiene la tos. Gabby has a cough, all right? The ailment versus the actual action, okay? If you move then to the next page, all right? La farmacia. First, let's look at the place. What is la farmacia? Pharmacy, okay? The pharmacy, okay? So looking at some of the things then, you see the lady, and she is counting out, not the one with the baby, but the pharmacist lady. La pastilla. Pills. Yeah, I should have brought some of mine. Never mind. Those are pastillas, all right? La pastilla. It's just Tylenol. All right, don't worry. I wasn't going to bring one of these. La receta, it does not mean receipt. I know it kind of looks like it. I know Julia's like, yeah, muy bien, prescription, okay? I know, it's confusing. So it looks like receipt, but it's prescription, okay? So the prescription. Now, obviously they're doing this. You guys are like babies. Once upon a time, they used to write them on a slip of paper. I know nowadays it's just sent over electronically, but I don't know. Have any of you seen like an actual paper? Some of you. Cheyenne's like, I'm not that young, Santos. All right, so yeah. Okay, so yeah. All right. Looking at different types of medicine, and they only give you a couple. So Santos will give you one or two more. El antibiótico. Antibiotics, okay? So if you have some kind of infección de bacteria, all right, a bacterial infection, el antibiótico. Now this one, they put a face of someone coughing. El jarabe. Cough syrup. Yeah, jarabe. All right, that's what we call cough syrup, okay? Except in Mexico, jarabe is a type of folk dance. So it always gets confusing when someone says you need to buy jarabe or you're doing the jarabe. It's like, I'm doing a cough dance or do I need cough syrup? All right, type of thing. And then finally, aspirina. Aspirin. Okay, now, brand names don't translate. Okay, so if there is a brand name of medicine, you would just say it. Okay, so el Tylenol. Okay, boom. All right, el Advil. Okay, el Pepto-Bismol. All right, just got to say it with a Spanish flair. Okay, but sometimes if you're using the generic name, what do you think ibuprofano? Ibuprofen. Now, of course, you can ask for el Advil or el Motrin, Advil or Motrin, which are the brand names. But in most places now, just because it's so common, el ibuprofen. Sorry, I have a hard time saying it. So sometimes I'm just like el ibuprofen because it's so similar. You can't do it with this one, though. Paracetamol is, I'm glad I brought this. It's this, acetaminophen, okay? And just so you're aware, only in the United States do we actually call it acetaminophen. You go to Britain or anything else, and it's paracetamol. So like if I found this out the hard way on a trip to London. You need Tylenol. You either ask for Tylenol or I forget. I was asking for acetaminophen, and they're like aceta what? And I'm like Tylenol, and they're like, you mean paracetamol? And I'm just like, yeah, what you said. So in other English-speaking countries, they do call it paracetamol, but paracetamol. Okay. And then finally, this one because someone asked me last year. I don't take it because I'm allergic to it. Naproxeno sódico, naproxen sodium. Does anyone know the brand name? Oh, Aleve, if you've ever taken Aleve. I'm allergic to it. I can't take it. It makes me throw up. I can't remember if it got rid of the headache, but I know I vomited from it. So yeah, if you take Aleve or if you're looking for Aleve, okay, it's that. But otherwise, most medical stuff, like I said, if you give them the actual brand name, like I said, when I didn't know that it's paracetamol, so I said Tylenol, and yeah, that they know, okay? And it even happened to me in Vietnam once, where I was just like, what are you saying? And they're like, Tylenol? I'm like, yeah, I know Tylenol. They're like, that's what you need, type of thing, so.
How would I tell someone that I'm an epileptic or I have a peanut allergy?
Okay. You could either say, I have epilepsia, or I am oh, sorry. Accent mark. I hate it when I misspell stuff. All right. Now, for allergies, I'm glad you asked, because if you go to the blue box, okay, the very first word for más problemas médicos, more medical problems, la alergia, okay? So once again, you can either say, tengo alergia, I have an allergy, okay? And then, of course, you would list whatever it is, or kind of the same thing. So, let me see. Tengo, I have alergia, or soy, I am alérgica. Accent mark over the E. Okay, soy alérgica, and then it would be a, which means to, and then whatever your allergy is. So, tengo alergia a maní, or soy alérgica a maní. That's peanuts in most countries. In Mexico, they're cacahuates. But yeah.
Thank you. That's it.
Is it like a deathly allergy?
I have an EpiPen, but I never carry it on me. Yeah, when I was in China, I had 3 allergic reactions and ran through all my EpiPens because I kept telling them like in Chinese, I don't know if it was just lost with my accent and translation, but I was like, I have a peanut allergy, and they're like, so what? Why do we care? They're like, what does that mean? Like, why does it bother you? I'm like, I will die.
Now, like, I don't mean to be insensitive, but like in other parts of the world, you don't see those types of allergies as much as you do
really
in the U.S.
Issue, yeah.
And I know I don't mean to be a boomer because I'm not, but I've heard a lot of boomers are like, well, when I was little, we didn't have like the peanut allergies and the this allergy and the. So honestly, I truly believe that they're putting shit in our food and in our like water and in our bananas and in our like whatevers. But that's just me being paranoid, type of thing. So one of the things, like I spent 6 months in Vietnam, and I remember like being there, I actually lost 15 pounds, and I ate like a pig. No offense to pigs. I ate so much. But the food is fresh. It's like caught fresh every day. If it's like meat or fish, it's prepared fresh. Like you buy everything that morning, like you don't buy anything with preservatives or anything like that. And so I honestly think that a lot of those like preservatives that we have in our foods, like, one of the side effects is, we gain weight, we get sick, we get allergies, we get, whatever type of stuff. And so, and I told people I have not eaten so much in my life. I have not eaten so healthy. And I lost 15 pounds after 6 months because like the food was just so much healthier and better and fresh. Like you got fresh vegetables, you got fresh fish, you got fresh everything like that morning. And that's what you ate. And then the next day, that was just part of the morning routine, was to go shopping for fresh food, and it was just like, wow. But then I came back and gained like 20 pounds back. So it was just like, all right, well, it didn't last. Anyways. Going through a couple other things, if there aren't más preguntas, okay, for allergies. Catarro is one of the words for having a cold. So you would say tengo catarro if you have a cold, okay? In some countries, though, they use the word resfrío for cold as well, all right? So tengo resfrío. Okay, and that one actually has the word frio in it. So it's like, okay, like I have a cold, like we would say in English. Okay, now, the word doler. The word doler is to hurt or to ache. But it is a weird one, because we use it like we use the verb gustar, to like. And if you recall, you don't say yo gusto or tu gustas. If I were to say that I like something, what do I say? Me gusta. Okay? So we use me, te, le, nos, os, and les, yo, tú, él, ella, usted, nosotros, vosotros, ellos, ellas, ustedes, okay? The verb doler, if you look at the list there, it gives you a UE in parentheses, meaning that it is a stem changer, okay? But because we're using it as a, like gustar, these are literally the only two you will ever use. And like gustar, if the thing that hurts you is one thing, you use duele. If what hurts you are two things, or more than two things, because some of our body parts are doubled, then, okay? So, me duele la cabeza, okay? You would translate that as I have a headache, but what you're literally saying, because just like when you like something in Spanish, you don't actually like it, you're saying the thing pleases you. Here you're actually saying, my head hurts me. Me duele la cabeza. Okay? Me duelen los ojos. You know, my eyes hurt. But that's not what you're saying literally. You're saying, my eyes are hurting me. Okay? And so that's why it does that. Okay? There's also another one. It's not on there, but because I'm Santos. And this does not mean to molest. Molestar means to bother. It's molestar is the verb, molestar, to bother. So, me molesta la cabeza, like if it's not an ache, but something's just like, oh yeah, my head's bothering me, okay? Or me molestan los ojos, my eyes are bothering me. I don't know, I'm very itchy, okay? So not quite to the point of an ache or a pain, but just some, like, I can tell you, mi pie me molesta, like my leg bothers me, all right? It doesn't hurt, it's just, this is fucking annoying. All right, so me molesta, all right? It's bothering me, okay? But yeah, okay? So sometimes students are like, but Mr. Santos, so would I say, tengo dolor de cabeza or me duele la cabeza? Yes. It's literally speaker's choice. Do you want to say literally, I have a headache, tengo dolor de cabeza, or me duele la cabeza, my head is hurting me, okay? It just depends on the person, where they're from, what region, like it's literally just what the speaker's background, okay? A couple of other words then, estar enfermo, okay? If someone asks, hey, Julia, ¿cómo estás? Estoy enferma, I'm sick, okay? Now, the only one where you can actually be very, very, very specific, estar resfriado or estar resfriada. I could ask Gabby, ¿cómo estás? Oh, estoy resfriada, which literally means I have a cold, like, for some reason, having a cold is the only one that you can use a star with. Like everything else, you would have to say tengo, tengo fiebre, tengo this, tengo that, okay, or me duele, or whatever, okay. Speaking of which, tener gripe, gripe is the flu. It's quite literally like influenza, all right. Although in some countries, it also means a cold. And so for me, trust me, it was always confusing because I'm like, wait, which country am I in? When someone would say tengo gripe, are they telling me they have a cold or are they telling me they have the flu? I'm like, okay, wait, I'm in Panama. Oh yeah, here it means a cold. Argentina, oh yeah, it means the flu. All right, so you just kind of have to play it by ear. But when I say tengo gripe, to me it means to have the flu. That's in Mexico. So if you guys ever see me come in or actually not coming in, because I would not come in if I had the flu. But ¿qué pasa, Señor Santos? Allie sends me an email, tengo gripe. Like and that to me means I have the flu. Like, I'm out for 3 days, okay, type of thing, okay? If you go down, it goes through this again, all right? So you can read it if you would like. All right, and then of course underneath it does give you examples of things that may or may not hurt you. El cuello, my neck, las manos, my hands, el estómago, okay, stomach, and so on and so on, okay, if you want to talk about things that hurt you or whatever, okay. If you go to the next page, actually, I mean page 165, last thing, and then we'll practicar un poquito, because we have about 10 minutes. Ambulancia, ambulance, if you ever need one. Antiácido, if you've got, tummy aches, okay? Sometimes you need a diagnóstico. even though it kind of looks like the word diagnostic, it means diagnosis. So your médico will give you un diagnóstico as to what's wrong with you. Okay, they will diagnose you. Inyección is a shot. So if you have a COVID shot, flu shot, whatever shot, okay. Radiografía. That actually refers to any radiological thing. So, because I know radiology is more than just x-rays, all right? But obviously in this case, they're using it for that. Please be aware though, that you can just say, rayos X. It's a little easier, at least for me to pronounce, besides radiografía. See, I had to look at it. It's easier for me to say rayos X, okay? So, x-rays, as opposed to radiografía, okay? Although someone might say to you, like, hey, Cheyenne, how was your radiografía? Like you said you had to go get one. And you're like, oh yeah, no, todo bueno, my leg's broken. Whatever. She's like, it's all good, just a broken leg. I have another one, it's okay. That's why we have two. All right? Preguntas on anything else, because that was a good question about allergies and stuff. See? No? Okay. And Benadryl is just Benadryl. I know you don't take Benadryl. I know you have an EpiPen, but all right.
It was epinephrine.